Hello Reformers, and welcome back to the 5-year anniversary edition of Mount & Blade Warband Native. That's a very long intro, isn't it? Well, I suppose it's necessary, considering I think this is a pretty special event, even though maybe it isn't. I don't know. I think it's pretty special because, you know, it was very, very popular, the original series, and I thought I might do something a little bit to commemorate that. So I thought what we'd do right now is we'd take a look at Barney because, as you can see, he's obviously leveled up. He leveled up in the previous episode, and I think it might be a nice idea to go for, well, that's the thing, I'm actually unsure what to go for, but yes, to expand a little bit on my plans in the previous episode that I outlined a little bit, on top of using Saranid units only, I think what we're also going to do is we're going to use Saranid equipment only as well. So obviously, considering the Saranids are very much a thrown weapon kind of faction, we are also going to be using thrown weapons. So I'm going to be speccing into power throw. I know a lot of you are now holding your heads in your hands and you're just like, no, don't do it, Reformist, don't do it. But I'm going to be doing it because that fits the theme of what we're trying to do. And I now have 23 units, by the way. I just recruited some extra recruits from that village over there. We're also going to be going over here. I have 514 dinars, and we are currently paying 34 in weekly cost. So, you know, in general, we're actually doing pretty nicely right now. And what I'm going to try to do is find a bunch of desert bandits. I feel like desert bandits would be a really, really nice thing to do right now. So, okay, 4 looters. Right, 4 looters. Okay, so yeah, in the original series, I tended not to cut away basically anything. The only thing that I would cut away would be travel times, because as I said in the previous episode, I didn't know about the control space thing, so that was great. But yeah, I didn't cut anything out, so even if I had, you know, a battle like this, I wouldn't cut it out. And I think considering for the nostalgia factor, I'm probably just going to be using the same sort of style, but with a little bit of extra experience under my belt, because obviously I do know a little bit more about video production and, you know, hopefully how to make things a little bit entertaining at least. I mean, you know, I guess, kind of. And yeah, if there is anything actually like really, really boring, then obviously I'll cut that out. But I think this is pretty fun because I always think, in my opinion at the very least, that the beginning stages of a Let's Play in terms of Warband, they are always the most fun, in my opinion, because you're starting from zero. You're getting all these units to level up, and you know, you're just going to hope and pray that you're going to survive and not run into anyone too powerful. Now, I do know that there are a number of desert bandits in this direction. Oh, it seems like we've run into our first quote-unquote Barney moment. Yeah, this seems like a Barney moment to me, doesn't it? To you as well? I think it does, because yeah, I was just like, oh, I think I can just, you know, speed up, go ahead and just be like, oh yes, that would be very nice. Oh, and these guys all have horses, so this is not going to be nice, is it? Especially considering I got eliminated instantly. Wow, that was not good. That was not good at all. So these desert bandits are going to be chasing me, so I'm going to have to head over in this. Oh my. Okay, I'm going to pay. Okay, 62 dinars. Okay. See, that's the thing. Even people that have played this game for a very, very long time are still going to have kind of a bit of a setback here. I'm going to pay once again. It's only 100 dinars to save my entire army. I think that's very, very worth it. So yeah, we're just going to get away from them very quickly, and then obviously we can just rest and all that sort of thing. Now, the main problem that we, you know, are foreseeing right here is the fact that I don't have any first aid. And if I had first aid, I don't think I have. No, I have no first aid. So basically what that means is that I'll be unable to participate in any further battle rounds. So if I get eliminated, I can't do anything. So we're going to need a companion, either a companion that has first aid. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to find Jeremus. Jeremus is going to be our linchpin here because he is absolutely amazing for everything, basically. We're going to sell these looters for a pretty reasonable amount. We're back up at a 508 dinars, so I suppose that's decent. But yeah, I'm going to try and find Jeremus as quickly as possible because he has, I believe, 3 in wound treatment, I think 4 in surgery and 3 in first aid or something along those lines. I don't know. He just has really, really good medic skills, and I'd very much like to be able to employ them sooner rather than later. So first off, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting footmen. We're going to try and go for Saranid infantry to begin with, because even though cavalry is very, very good, I don't really feel like having a cavalry unit run off by itself, because obviously it doesn't have any people, with it. It doesn't have anyone to help it out. And once I get a little bit more in trainer skill, that will all change. That will make things much, much easier. Okay, hello. Who's that? Desert Bandits. Okay, so we're going to be tackling these Desert Bandits, and they actually have a lair here as well. I'm going to just tackle these guys. No. Really? They're much faster than I am? Well, that is sad, isn't it? That is very, very sad. Okay, fine. I'm going to have to go for the other group then, by the looks of things. Seems like the other group is going to be a little bit easier to take out because they have more units. Or are they? Wow, I am very slow. I have 3 in pathfinding, and I am still extremely slow. I suppose it is literally just because I'm the only one with a horse in my army, and we do have quite a few units. So it seems like I'm going to need to be a little bit more, shall we say, wily, a little bit more devious, or just be lucky. Just be extremely lucky. Okay, so this time we're going to be a lot better, and by that I mean Barney is not going to die. But I just find that quite amusing because that's very, very nostalgic, because, again, I would run in and the only thing that would save me is basically having very, very low difficulty settings. I was very, very low in difficulty at that point because obviously I was very inexperienced. But yeah, it's just rather amusing that is indeed what happened just now, and I got taken out that easily, but it's okay. It's absolutely fine. As long as we don't get killed again, then I think we should be fine. Okay, come on, just kill that, please. Now, the thing is, with native, the various units that you're going to encounter are very, very easy to kill in comparison to most mods. But at the same time, you're also going to be having very, very much damage taken. So you're really going to have to be quite careful about that. So if you're still sort of new to the game, which, some people may, pick up the game on a sale or something like that, and they may be like, oh, how do I do this? I have no idea. But yeah, that is, yeah, is that my tip? Is that my tip for that? I have no idea, really. I don't really have too many tips. Basically, just stay alive in native. That is your #1 priority. Even if all of your units are taking a beating, it's really, really a good idea not to run in there, because you are going to then end the battle prematurely, and that is then going to mean that you'll lose even more units than before, because maybe you won't be able to participate, and then it's just going to be an absolutely terrible thing ever. So here we go. We finally have a turban, so I'm probably going to be wearing that. Thank you very much. We look very, very cool now, in my opinion. And ragged skirmisher armor. I'm actually thinking I'm going to wear that because that does give me some leg armor, but it does reduce our body armor quite a bit. So I think I'm probably just going to leave it out. And we do have a number of lances here. There is actually a light lance here. I'm probably going to be using this, so let's actually just see what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be swapping around this, and this. I'm going to sell the crossbow. I'm hopefully going to level up soon. Oh, there we go. We actually just leveled up to 3. Fantastic. So now I can get another point in power throw, get a little bit more in proficiencies here. And the thing is, I'm actually unsure. I know that some people, when they, make a character or whatever, they make a build and then they find out what stat and what skill they're going to take on each level. I don't do that. I kind of just like to do it organically, naturally, and just like to think, okay, so what do I want to go for here? Well, I want to go for power throw, obviously. I want to go for power strike and iron flesh. They're all very important. Iron flesh is not so much important right now, but in general, it's going to be quite important later on when we're getting hit by Huskars and things. But anyway, strength is obviously the linchpin for that, so hopefully we're going to, do a pretty reasonable job as time goes on. So I'm just going to continue getting these veteran footmen. I can always level them up to horsemen if I so desire, but at the moment, I think I'm just going to leave them where they are and hopefully just get a couple of infantry leveled up reasonably quickly. And we do have a number of these. Okay, so I'd like to fight these if possible. Nope, never mind. Alright. Well, yes, I'm actually really happy that they don't have the Bring a Friend system in native. It seems like that was added by some sort of submod, because these guys would be consistently bringing a friend when it comes to, fighting me right now. I'm really happy that I have so many footmen as well, because these guys are obviously on horses, and we mostly have shields and spears. So hopefully that's going to make a big difference. And they're changing to their spears, as you can see right now. I'm going to tell them to stand closer too, so that we have a much better chance of stopping them where they stand. I'm not entirely sure why they're just running around everywhere. They're just being a little bit weird, but oh well, never mind. Doesn't matter. As long as we don't lose too many of our units and we actually start slicing away at the opponent, we should be absolutely fine. And it seems like we're doing a much better job than we were previously. And I'm starting to remember more of how to counter most of the units in native, because obviously you have the Sea Raiders. Don't really know how to counter those just yet. I think we probably counter those with cavalry and just an overall bombardment of thrown weapons. I think that's probably going to make a really, really nice difference. And I really love how easy it is to eliminate the enemies right now. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, because usually you don't want enemies to be too easy, but you kind of do, because you want to be able to level up fast and gain a huge amount of whatever you like, and I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to get some Jareds here, and I'm just going to take the rest. I'm not going to use actual bent weapons at all. I'm going to actually have a couple of standards, to be honest, which is a little bit weird, because usually I don't, and usually I just use whatever, but in this case, I'm going to try to only use things that are actually decent. So there you go, that's another 64. And are these guys going to attack me? No, they're not going to attack me. I'd actually like to fight those people with, the prisoners, because those prisoners would no doubt be a very, very worthwhile addition to our army. So let's actually see if I can get them. Let's see if I can get them. So there's 137. I need to do a tournament relatively soon as well, but obviously I need to be a bit careful with that, because you never know, we might have some problems. Okay, so who's this? Okay, so is this the same group that I was going after, or is this a different group? I'm not entirely sure, but it doesn't matter, I suppose. We have a caravan guard that we rescued, so that's relatively nice. We're going to tell everyone to stand closer, quite a bit closer actually, because we want them to just stand still. I'm going to try and use my lance. Now let's see, does it have auto lancing? I don't think it has auto... Oh, it does! It seems to have auto lancing. Well, that's relatively interesting. Okay, so these guys are obviously using lances as well, which is not very nice. But as you can see, those guys have now run off into our own units, and that is going to make things very easy for us. Oh, there you go. Okay, so it does automatically work. Okay, that's a little bit weird. Maybe there was an update to Mount a Blade that actually changed that, because I remember that you had to press X to be able to get a couch going on. Maybe maybe there is something to do with that, and maybe I'm just kind of misremembering or something, but I think 5 years ago you had to press X, so that's pretty impressive. I did actually kill someone. Whoa, I killed someone with a thrusting attack with a lance. Right, okay. I'm surprised. I think Barney just had one of those looks on his face that is just like, what? What happened? I have no idea. There seems to be someone controlling me that is actually a little bit decent nowadays. Yeah. And there you go. We actually... Wow, okay. Pretty impressive. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not impressive at all. Maybe I'm just thinking to myself that it is, but I'm actually kind of proud of Barney and how far he's come, and yeah, these throwing weapons are absolutely awful because I don't have any horse archery, obviously, and maybe I need to get some horse archery. Not entirely sure about that actually at the moment, because you know me, I'm pretty terrible with fighting on a mount anyway, but you add throwing weapons into the mix and I think it's gonna be utter hilarity. We're probably gonna do it for that sake anyway, because it's just going to be hilarious to just watch me just flailing about, just being like, oh, throwing weapons everywhere. Yeah, that kind of thing. But there you go. We're actually doing reasonably well right here, and we are getting some manhunters. There's a reason why I want these manhunters as well, because they use primarily blunt weapons, and blunt weapons, of course, are going to be used to take additional prisoners, and that's going to mean that we will have an even greater chance at gaining even more money. And there's actually a flanged mace there. I might actually like to take the mace, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of the falchion, but it does have much more damage, and we're not really fighting anything that is extremely difficult right now. And the lance is pretty decent, so I think I'm just gonna... I don't know. I think we're just gonna stay with the falchion for now, to be honest. Okay, so let's go over to Barry right now, and we're just gonna sell a little bit and, you know, take stock at what we have, because we're running out of cash a little bit, because obviously I'm leveling up quite a few units relatively quickly, and we need to be quite careful of that, because if we go too far, then obviously we are going to be in a really, really bad position. But as you can see, most of the loot that I'm selling right now is going to result in us gaining a pretty decent profit. I'm actually going to take the 2 horses back, because as we know, when you have a horse in your inventory, you move a little bit quicker. I think the limit is 6, so you can have 6 horses in your inventory before you start slowing down, and that's obviously going to help us catch even more of the bandits. So I'm going to go into the tavern here, make sure that we're... there's a ransom broker. Very, very handy. Okay, let's do this. Nice, another 160, very good. Alright, so there's a mercenary horseman there. I could technically recruit him if I want to. I thought there was actually someone else standing in here, but it was actually just that jug. Isn't that hilarious? I was just like, oh, there's someone else there. No, never mind, it's just a jug. Yeah, that's really good. Anyway, let's go and speak to this guy, and I'd like to try and find out... Okay, fine, I'm going to join this, and we're going to see what we can do, but I don't have actually any skill in bows, so this is going to be amusing. Okay, well I killed him at least, and I have just a dagger. Well, that's not very good, is it? But I did kill that guy, I suppose, but yes, I think it was mainly due to me having headshot him previously, so... yes. I think this is... Well, obviously, if you're able to beat all of the enemies in this particular... Yeah, I knew that wasn't going to happen. I can't block with the dagger, by the way, so obviously me... Yeah, I probably should have just brought out my bow, shouldn't I? But I was kind of like, I just want to get this over with, to be honest, because I just want to ask where the next tournament is. And that is in Raverdin, Kudan, and Yalen. Aha, okay, so that's actually pretty nice, because Kudan is just... Wait a minute. Oh no, Kudan is in Vajir territory. I keep thinking that it's a Khergit town for some reason. Not entirely sure why, but anyway, yeah, it seems like we're going to have to leave the tournament chasing for another time. So, with that, I hope you are all very much enjoying the nostalgic series that this is, and if you'd like to take a look at the original series, then you can find it on my main channel page. It's probably under popular uploads, also under, you know, Warband playlists and so on and so forth. So if these uploads are not coming fast enough for you, then you can always take a look there. And if you've already seen it, then, well, I thank you very much, because without you, the channel would not be where it is today. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.